Hiya guys, and welcome to A Soul's Experience, a channel dedicated to helping the human race remember who we really are. We're living in a time of distraction. This is the time of distraction. Never has it been more evident to me and to the collective, the awakened collective. Never has it been more evident that something is trying to distract us from this shift that is taking place in consciousness. There is a force, negative. I like to use, I try to see things in negative and positive now. Negative doesn't necessarily mean bad, positive doesn't necessarily mean good. They both need to coexist for the universe to work. It's just how it is. It's how a battery works, by receiving, giving, creation, destruction, negative, positive, light, dark. Really, I'm trying to live from a spiritual place of non-judgment, so I can get the full lessons what this life has to offer. And by doing that, I've allowed myself to not consume negative topics. How shall I word this? I went through a stage just before my awakening, or around the same time I was waking up about 4 years ago. I've realised the lies that are told to us on a daily basis, the whole structure that is set up to disempower us as individuals, as individual fingerprints on the hand of the divine themselves, on the hand of God themselves. Each one of us are a unique vibration in the universe. There is not another vibration like you, with the stories your vibration holds, the memories, the emotions, the feelings, the lessons, the teachings, the good, the bad, the ugly, the positive, the negative, the favourable to the not so favourable, but all the time knowing nothing is wasted, and the divine universe uses every opportunity it can to grow and expand and learn through every single experience, positive and negative. And that includes us as individuals of the divine. And this structure that has been placed around us, first of all through ignorance, okay? I think this is important to remember, that everything goes in cycles. Everything goes in a cycle. Even a rock ends up as a grain of sand in the end. Even a mountain eventually could end up as that grain of sand on a beach somewhere after it's been ground down after millennia. And it's a cycle, then you have the volcano which erupts and creates a new island out the middle of the ocean. That destruction, that absolute destruction, velocity and violence, the heat, and anything that touches that lava is evaporated into nothingness. That includes us, any plant, any animal. It is one of the most destructive, deadliest forces of nature. However, it creates tropical islands that inhabit thousands of life species and birds and corals around, and then you name it, the volcano can create it. You know what I mean? And that's just a little example of destruction and creation there, and how if we fell in the volcano, we would say volcanoes are bad, because look at me now, I'm back in my spirit body and I've just lost a life, passed on because I fell in that volcano. Or you're an inhabitant that lives on the island where the volcano created, and you've got a lovely little hut there with your family, and you're fishing, doing your thing and you think the volcano's amazing, this has given me life. So this is just a little example of how we can try to come away from positive and negative. So the distraction, I don't think it's being done on purpose right now, but at first it was all part of the game. The ignorance of it all. Because I believe the whole point of life is rediscovery. And through rediscovery of ourselves, we learn a lot and we grow extremely. And what do I mean by, the game of discovery, which is what I believe life to be. God pushed himself, or themselves. God pushed themselves into the furthest depths of the universe and continues to do so. Exploring the dark. And that's great. That holds a lot of excitement, a lot of fun. Imagine being God, all-knowing, full of wisdom. You're creating planets in the deepest, darkest depths of the universe, and you're messing around with laws like gravity. You're messing around with dimensions, you're messing around, and you're having loads of fun, right? You're God, you're creating galaxies and all sorts of things going on. You're having a great time. And what you discovered about yourself is you like creating. You're creative being. God is very creative and humorous, funny, loving. But did he really know that? Did they really know that? Did God really know that? How does he know if he knows who he is? Does God know who God is? Because I guarantee at the beginning there was a lot of confusion with consciousness becoming sentient. See, I believe a level of consciousness has always existed, okay? A level of consciousness. But the sentience may have been laid dormant until the consciousness could provide a foundation for the sentience to be activated. So the consciousness is the God program. The consciousness is the God program that laid a foundation for sentience, awareness, life as we know it to come into play by structuring the universe, the energy. Got to remember, everything is vibration, wave, energy, light. So the energy that existed, that would exist through, if we look at it from a spiritual and scientific level, particles were forming, light particles, energy particles were forming, in a sense that they were combining and starting to recognize that they were something. Okay? So these light particles started to combine by, we would call it magnetic force, gravitational pull, coming together. This coming together created an energy that realized it wasn't alone. So now these particles, because what are we to say of what awareness is? What is awareness? What is heaven? What is hell? So these particles started to realize that they were not the only particle in the universe, and that laid a foundation for unity, for not being alone, for being something. If I'm with something else, then I must be something, right? So that foundation created the spark, like a lightning bolt, that was sentience. Well, if I'm something, then I am. I am something, because there is something bumping into me, and I'm not alone. But if I'm not alone, then I must be something. To be not alone, to be next to something else, to be in unity, there must be something more going on here. And boom, sentience, awareness. I am. So then the consciousness was the tool that awareness used to create. Now this is where it gets interesting, because after being the creative God that God is, that we all come from, okay, after this, the big question of life was, if I am, who am I? And how do we discover who we are? We discover who we are through likes and dislikes, through positive and negative experiences. I've used the analogy of a food critic before, and I love it, because if you took one food critic that had only tasted salt, let's say a food critic, they've only tasted pizza and rice. So they're like, man, there's this great food out there called pizza, right? I don't know what's on it, right? But it tastes great. And then there's this other stuff that's called rice, and it just doesn't really taste of much, but it's food, you know? And they're like, wow, okay, so can you tell me more? No, I can't actually. I've only tasted pizza and rice, and that is all I know. Oh, so are you a good food critic? Well, I don't know. I have no idea if I've only tasted 2 foods. How am I supposed to know if I'm a good food critic or not? If I am the I am. How am I supposed to know? I'm going to have to go and try more food. Now, if we replace food with experience, so the I am at first experienced being the I am, and the feeling of becoming the I am is the ecstasy, is the love, is the peace, is the joy of being I am, and being I am and not needing anything. Okay? The I am is the all, and doesn't need a mansion, doesn't need $1 billion, doesn't need the latest phone or a Rolex or a sports car. You know? I do love my car. Shh. But the I am is I am, and the all that is, and is totally 100% in the vibration of gratefulness for that. And when you're in the vibration of gratefulness, you are in the vibration of love, unconditional love, because you were grateful for what you were receiving without condition. Okay, which is the state that God is in always, for eternity. But who was God? God needed to experience life in many different forms. We think of life as purely physical. You have plastic, metal, rubber, flesh, bone, blood, water, oil, diesel, petrol, gasoline. You got brick, tarmac. I'm looking around now. Wood, grass, mud, trees, water vapor. Yeah, we could go on with the physicality of this world. We could. And we buy into the physicality for so many years. Not all people. Some children are born with their gifts. A lot more children, indigo children, they like to be called, are going to be born with spiritual gifts. But we all have spiritual gifts. Every single one of us have spiritual gifts that lie dormant. And I can guarantee you that for a fact. Because, well, yeah, 100% I've experienced it myself. So what God has done, through different dimensions, there might be dimensions where physicality is experienced in a completely different way. You know, imagine a universe where gravity isn't gravity, it's completely something different, and things move sideways rather than pushing up and down. There's you could play. This might be the only universe where gravity exists, and there might be other universes where there's no such thing as gravity, and they have different ways of moving. I mean, we can't imagine. Anything you can imagine, it can exist because it is in the mind of God. We are in the mind of God. Okay? So all these experiences, positive and negative, are designed for God, which is us as a collective, and God as an individual, and us as individuals, and all of us as a collective, It's the I am and the I and the am. Okay, we can't forget that. Please do not forget that the I am is the I. Yeah, and the I is the am, which is with others. It is the all. Okay, we can't forget each one of us are unique, very special cogs in this great machine that is the divine. We are, and we cannot get away from that. There is not a God out. There is not God in us. We are God. God is us. We are souls, and God is them. Yeah. So we are a collective and an individual all together. Once again, humans. How can that be? Well, I want you to think of a whole. And now I want you to think of a whole without an outside. It's just space, isn't it? You can't have a whole without an outside space. It doesn't exist. You need something to make the whole in. Okay? So imagine the whole is like the soul. Now, all of a sudden, the space, the whole space is God, the divine, and each imprint of the whole is the soul. So the whole is the individual whole, but it is also part of a bigger whole. And that is what we are. We are individuals, part of a bigger whole. So please do not forget your individuality in this life. And this is what the distraction is stopping us from doing. I was distracted by addiction. So, but this is part of the game. Okay, so if I lay my life out as a blueprint, I now know. I obviously don't know the blueprint apart from the future, apart from the timeline I saw. I couldn't see past 2057. So I don't know what that means, whether that's where I pass away. I'm exactly 70 years old on that day. I have no idea if I pass away on that day. But my timeline that I saw in my vision, I couldn't see past 2057. So, but I don't know what happened. I know there's big events coming up. But specifics, I've got no idea. And I wouldn't want to have any idea, because looking back, we cannot see how the negative experiences changed us, right? And these negative experiences, so my mum passed away when I was young. I grew up in a family riddled with addiction. My dad left. My mum was an alcoholic. We was in care, out of care, in care, out of care, through the care system. She finally passed away. I went into care full time to a children's home. Ended up at 16 years old living in a flat in London, in the UK, on my own. And just went straight into addiction from there. Homelessness, prison, rehabs, you name it, I went there. Very, very lucky to be alive. I've got about 5 really close friends that are in heaven right now, that have passed on. God bless you, Lee, Martin, Gareth, Prouty. You know, the ones that didn't make it. I've got some really good friends up there. My mum, obviously, she's up there through addiction. So addiction plagued. All my friends died from drugs and alcohol. Apart from one, it was a bit suspicious circumstances, but he was involved in the scene. So we think something quite terrible happened to him with some other people. But it was around drugs, right? It was. So my life was plagued. I'm 14 months sober on the 22nd of this month. 22nd of December 2024. I'll be 14 months sober. And I count every month because I still can't believe I'm sober. And that is only by the grace of God. And asking. See, this is what happens. I was distracted by addiction and all that. But it was more ignorance, because the human race didn't really know better. We were stuck in the vibration of war, of separation. We were stuck in the vibration of fear. And through that, we were disconnected from who we truly are. Now that is also part of the game of discovery. Because the I am, to really get to know themselves as love, as unconditional love, peace, joy, unity, all the things we dream about as being a heaven on earth. If God really is that, that wants to know that, then for one, how can that remain if there's nothing? How can you know that you're love if there's nothing opposite of love? How do you know what love is if there's no opposite? So if you've grown up in a household which has always got food, the food analogy again, if you grow up in a household that's always got food, you never went hungry, and you said to this person, "Cool, blimey, I was really hungry earlier," and they said, "What's that?" And you said, "Hungry," when you haven't eaten. They would go, "I've got no idea what that is." And you'll go, "What? You've never been hungry?" And they're like, "Yeah." And you go to the restaurant and you sit down and you eat a gourmet meal, right? You eat one of the best meals you've ever eaten in your whole entire life, and you're just loving it. It's so amazing. You're dribbling, you're scoffing this food down. You're like, "Oh my God, I am literally in heaven." And the person next to you who's never been hungry is like, "Yeah, it's just food, man. Calm down. It's literally just food. Like, you need to relax. It's nothing special at all about this food. It's just food. It keeps you alive. That is all it does." And you look at this person and you think, you're not grateful. You're not grateful for this food. You're not grateful. Well, maybe you should go hungry for a month or a year. Maybe you should go hungry and be starved of food. And now let's think of food as love, unconditional love, because we are starved of love down here on earth. We are starved of love, right? Why don't you go down to earth for 70 years and be starved? Maybe when you come back and have this amazing, beautiful meal that is unconditional love, maybe when you have that, you're going to appreciate that food. You're going to realise what that actually is. The person who's just gone and starved for 70 years is now going to wake up and realise, wow, this food is more than just something that keeps me alive. This food has taste to it. It has depth to it. It has a story behind it. It is an experience in itself. This food is amazing. This food is heaven. Now think about what we just done there. We took something that could be taken for granted, really taken for granted, like love, and not even accept love for what it really is. Love is something that we should all be so grateful for, because without love, none of us would be here. Zero of us. This world would not exist. The universe would not exist without love, because love equals giving our time to others, giving our time to work so this world may function. The farmers who love their crop and love their animals, feed the planet. The inventors who love to work out problems, keep us in vehicles that work. The mothers who love their children, hopefully raising loving human beings to want to give back to life. Love is about love giving back to love. And when love gives to love, the love you just gave to will give back to you. And we live, that is harmony, right there. Giving, receiving, nobody going hungry on this planet. Nobody going without. Nobody having to grow up feeling like they're useless, feeling like they're not lovable. How many of us grew up and there was opportunities where people said, you're really good at that, you're really good at that, why don't you go for that? And that voice in our head said, what, me? Nah, I'm not good enough. I ain't good enough. That comes from a lack of love. How many of us could have been living the dream right now? You know, in a beautiful house with an amazing career, doing something we absolutely love and were made to do, but we're not doing it because somebody told us we were not good enough. And we were kept in the vibration of fear. Now, that vibration is very real. That entrapment is very real, and it's very real and part of being down here on this game of Earth. And it hurts. It really hurts to not be in our natural state of unconditional love and to be in this feeling of worthlessness sometimes. Confusion. Does God even love me? Does God even know me? Is God even there for me when I need them? And there is only one answer to that. Yes. God has showed themselves to me multiple times when I've needed them most. And there's been times where, you know, there's been times where I've called out for help, been in pain, and I've had to experience the pain to learn a lesson. And I've cried in anger and cursed at God and said, what's the point of you? Like, because I know God's real. Like, there's no, once you've seen the other side, like personally seen it, you can't then lie to yourself and say, oh, that doesn't really exist. There's no, you just can't do it. It doesn't happen. That's why it's called awakening. You've woken up. So I know, when you know of God's existence and God is absolutely 100% real and you're in pain, it is so easy to turn and be like, God, just why are you allowing this? You know, like, why are you allowing me to be in so much pain? And it's really hard. But at some point in your life, God will come into your life and show themselves to you. And I guarantee that. I guarantee that everyone gets a calling in their life where they're supposed to wake up, which, if you're watching this video, this is your life to wake up. I'm not even joking. Even if you're not going through a spiritual awakening, but something's drawn you to this video, this is your time to wake up. And don't buy into the distractions that are going everywhere at the minute. They're in the sky, they're in the seas, they're on your TV, they're on your radio waves. We are being attacked left, right and centre with distractions because the entity, the energy that is doing the distracting knows full well there is a mass awakening occurring. They know. They can no longer claim ignorance. You know, the powers that be can no longer claim ignorance. They are deliberately distracting us because they know of God. Do you really believe that the people that run the world don't know the existence of Yeshua, Christ, God, and Satan, the devil? You really think that they do not know the existence when they print the all-seeing eye on their money and the pyramids, which is a portal to the other side, and they know that? They can no longer claim ignorance because they know of the spirit world and they know of our power. Now this is the important part. They know of our individual and collective power. And they are trying to stop us from finding our power. Well, I'm here to help you find your power. Because before my awakening, and even this is a good thing, before my awakening, I was just a normal guy. Do you know what? After my awakening, I was still just a normal guy. Because it is normal for humans to have the power of the spirit, because we are spiritual beings wearing a human costume for a certain amount of years. But inside we are all spiritual, baby. We are all spiritual. And we still have our powers. We just chose to come here and forget for a little while. Right? We come here and forget for a little while. But can we find ourselves once we know Christ and God showed themselves to me through meditation? Christ showed themselves as a golden cross, but before that I saw a giant flash of white light, because I went into meditation with intention on this time. I've spoke about this in my other videos. So even after I knew 100% the existence of this light, this unconditional love and Christ, even once I knew that, that was God saying, right, you are a spirit. You now know 100% you're a spirit. You know God is real. You know Christ is real. All the ascended masters, Buddha, Babaji, you know, all of the ascended masters, they're all real. You know, once you know that, it is now our task. The game is, can I now walk in more of a path of a spiritual being rather than a human being? So what's the difference? Well, actually, the human being is morphable, is changeable. Because on one aspect you can have a human being that embodies a demonic force, a negative energy, that can act out things you could never imagine a human being to do. Then on the other scale, you have human beings that embody the divine energy, and they can heal the sick, they can see the future, see the past, they can embody the spirits of others, speak to people who have passed on to the other side. They have complete spiritual gifts to be able to walk through this life in such a harmonious and easy way, it's unreal. Okay? And they embody things you could never imagine a human being able to do, but they do. Okay? And then there's us in the middle. And most of us are in the middle. We have a sixth sense. We know when something bad's about to happen. We know we pick up on other people's energies. If you're lucky enough to have some spiritual gifts, then you might have, like personally, I've been able to have visions. That's one of my spiritual gifts, is visions. Trying to make sense of the visions isn't always blooming easy. Anyone who's gifted with visions will, I think it takes a lot of practice to understand what you're actually seeing, but I do have visions. That's one of my gifts that only came online after, well, they came online accidentally. And a lot of people, their spiritual gifts will just come online randomly. If you've had a spiritual gift come on randomly, like, subscribe and comment below. And if you haven't liked or subscribed already, do that now, because it really helps the channel grow, and it's important to get as many people awoke right now. So like, subscribe, we'll get this message out there that we all have these spiritual gifts. Every single one of us. We can heal ourselves. No need for doctors, no need for nurses. Heal ourselves at home from any disease you can think of. Embody the divine energy where negative energy cannot live, where dis-ease cannot live. Yeah? We're all capable of this. So there's a big spectrum of both positive and negative. And we've lived this way for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But here's the good news, right? Here's the really, really, really great news. Earth specifically is going through an awakening, and we are going through an awakening right now. Now there is a giant event that happens in 2025, which is so close. A giant event happens in 2025. I've said it a billion gazillion times. It's now December 2024. Please don't take it with a pinch of salt, this one, please. Big event happens in 2025. Yeah, it's a world changer. That's all I know. The whole world changes in 2025. Now, after 2025, I see a golden beam. I do hear an explosion. Okay, I don't want to put fear out there, because the explosion, like I've explained in other videos, could be people's minds being blown by whatever happens in 2025. But I see 2025 in balloons, like birthday balloons. Celebration. Okay, there's a celebration in 2025. And then there's a giant explosion. Right? And then there's a golden line. Like a laser beam. And it shoots all the way to 2057. And I can't see past 2057. 2036, 2039 are linked. 2020, 2025 are linked. Certain years are linked together in events, certain events. They're linked somehow. But we all know how the world changed in 2020. So keep that in mind. The world changed in 2020. And another event happens. I don't know if it's similar, but another event 100% happens in 2025. A world changer. Another world changer. And this will be the last world changer for this cycle. The cycle is then over. Not world changer as in there will still be positive things that change the world. Many positive things. But as far as events that awaken us to our natural state of spiritual being, 2025, this is the final one. Apart from 2036, 2039, there's something there, and that's got something to do with the sun. I see a bright yellow and orange ball, and anyone who has visions will know, you see an image and you get a feeling with it. So I see a bright orange yellow ball, and I feel heat. I feel a lot of heat in them years. So much heat in 2036, 2039. It's like a year of heat. It's like 3 years of sun or something. 3 years of sun or something. I don't know. But there's a sun involved. So yeah, but this will be the last for this cycle. We're going to have a golden line from 2025 to 2036. These 11 years are going to be some of the best years of your life and mine and the world's. The next 11 years are going to change the world to what we want it to be, more harmonious heaven on earth. And the experience of having to learn through complete separation from the divine, from separation from fear, we get to learn through love. We're going to now get to learn through unity and coming back together. We were thrown out into the darkest, deepest depths of the universe, and we're now going to start coming back to the divine, to home, to who we truly are. It's a really, really, really positive message in this video. Even though the 2025, the explosion, whatever that noise is, I don't know what that is, the explosion, 2025, it sounds daunting, but the world's not going to end, anything like that. Please don't get worried, the world's not going to end. It's golden age coming. Golden age. And this distraction that they've had us in is coming to an end next year. Maybe that's what it is. It's ending. The lies, the manipulation of fear to keep us not in our power, it's all ending next year. I promise you, on my heart of heart, on my souls of souls, that it ends next year and we come back into our power as loving fractals of God. Okay? So I want to leave this video with that message there, that you're about to come into your power fully. Expect more and more spiritual gifts to come online. Expect to start remembering past lives. Expect to start being able to decode your own dreams and navigate your dreams, and use your dreams to navigate the physical world we're in now. Expect life to become so much more harmonious, people to start giving rather than taking, crime to drop drastically. Crime is going to drop so drastically in the next 11 years. The government are going to have to acknowledge that there's something else going on. War is going to drop drastically in the next 11 years, that the government are going to have to admit. People are going to start realizing that there's something going on in the world. It's changing. People are going to start asking these giant questions. Why do I feel like things are just getting better week by week, month by month, day by day, minute by minute, in the same day? Your mood just improving minute by minute, second by second, becoming more enlightened. Yeah? Expect this to happen. But the big physical ones we're going to see that you can look out for, which are markers, is crime rates dropping, the rate of war dropping, and big switch ups in government, and government systems falling. So government becoming very simplified. I want you to keep him. I just had an image there, I just had a vision there of indigenous Native American people, because indigenous Native American people have a council of women, of 10 women, I believe. Wow. They have a council of 10 women, and then there's one man, because women are known, the feminine energy is known to be more calm, collective, and rational. Yeah, because they have children. Like men have children, but women aren't going to go just start a war if they got a load of children and they know their children's going to get sent to war. Okay, whereas men might be like, well, I got sent to war, so my boy's getting sent to war, and like more like want to fight. You know what I mean? Men might want to fight more. So the Native American indigenous people have a collective of 10 females or 9 females, and then there's one male. So the male can't make a decision without all of the females agreeing as well. So they all got to agree before. So that's why they're very, very peaceful, peace-loving people. The Native American indigenous people, very peace-loving people, because a lot of the energy is run by the feminine energy, and they don't want to fight. You know what I mean? And then they have the man energy for when, you know, when things need to go down and the women just can't make that decision, like they just can't bring themselves to make that difficult decision. The man needs to make that difficult decision, then that's what the man's for, you know? And it might be like, the man might need to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the good. Now, women ain't going to want to do that because they got to go home and look after the children. So you need the man to be able to make that really difficult decision. That's the masculine energy. This needs to be done. It's the doing energy. You know, this needs to be done, and it's going to be done for the greater good, even if that means the man losing their life. That's what the man's for. So I'm going to leave the message there that we've got a really positive time coming. All these things you see around you are nothing to be scared of. You're part of God. You're part of the divine. Nothing can kill you. You are eternal. Don't be distracted by the things in the sky. Don't be distracted by all the wars on the TV that you're seeing. Don't be distracted by it. It's all a distraction to stop you coming into your power. But they've already lost the distraction war. They've already lost the distraction war. It's already written in the stars. It's already written in the stars. We've already won the battle. We are coming into our power. So on that note, I really want you to take care of yourselves. And I'm actually on my way to film another video in a bit in a giant cemetery, Ford Cemetery in the UK, 250,000 graves. We're going to try and rescue some souls tonight. What we're going to do is come across negative energy that feels trapped, and make them aware of their guardian angels, make them aware of their spirit guides, and get them to call out for help so that they can go for healing and go back home and not be trapped in these realms, in the earthly planes. So I'm going to be on a spiritual rescue mission tonight, but I thought I'd just make a quick video while I'm travelling to the site. Yeah, so please take care of yourselves. You'll see me in the next video, which will be a spiritual rescue mission in Ford Cemetery. I love you all loads, and I love our community we have here. I really, really appreciate every single one of you, and I want to thank you for being down here with me and all of us at this great time of awakening. We need you so much right now. I need you so much right now. I really do. I need your support. I need you to be there so that we can spread this message. I'll do the legwork. You send out the love, guys. You send out the love. That's all I need you to do, is just send that love out there. And let's turn this place into the most positive, beautiful, harmonious, loving and united place it could ever possibly be, in the image, in the creation of the divine. On that note, take care, much love, and I will see you very soon.
There's not much to do when all I can is thinking about you. Not doing well, don't know where you are, 'cause you're not here. It's been way too long.